So I thought I'd do a quick demonstration of the MFD or multifunction display of the BRZ 86. As you can see, it's all digital. Just give it a bit of a rev. And I'll show you just on the left hand side all the different options you have. So as you can see, there's a volts meter from the alternator and oil temperature all the way from 50 to 170. You probably don't want to see it too much more than halfway. This is fully warmed up, it's just a tad over 90. Then you have your fuel economy, just filled up, so far averaging 8.8 out of 100. I think it's going to go a bit higher than that after I have it for a bit longer, because yeah, I think it does 9.5 really on average, doing like a mix of highway and, you know, standard urban driving. Then you have the total time the car's been on and driving, and the total kilometers the driveline has had, and the average speeds that you've done. And then you have the tire pressure. It's only in kPa. They don't do PSI. I think in the US they have PSI, but here we do metric. Then you come to the telemetry. This is kind of cool because, as you can see, you have range for accelerator. I don't know if you saw that. Just goes up a little bit. Brake. And then you have left, or right, sorry, and left. And then you have a graph of sorts to show you how far you've been in each direction. That's cool. Apparently I've maxed it out. I don't think so. Or maybe I did try to drift once or twice. And then you have the infamous power and torque curve. It's supposed to be a bit different in the GR86. Yeah, I'll have to wait until I can get my hands on a manual one, GR86, and see how that feels. But yeah, the throttle mapping is different between the two. Then you have a lap timer, tells you how to use it. You can start it like that, stop, set lap times, stop it, reset. I can go back. And then you have navigation. So let's say if I navigate somewhere, if I start some navigation, no, I need to be on the road. Yeah, there'll be a direction and current street, and the next street that you need to turn on. And there's a compass, and there is the media playing. That's connected to Bluetooth as one, of course. The next one is so this is like blind spot stuff, driver assists, and the other one is the headlights, so both always turn on. And then you got the warning settings. So here, warning volumes. I think that's generally related to maybe the warnings for like the speed light cameras and the check engine lights and that kind of stuff. I don't believe that I've heard any of that, except like the navigation, speed camera warnings. Then you have screen settings. Startup screen shows the BRZ, whatever. Turn that off. GSI, I need to read into that. Don't know exactly what that is. Turn by turn, yeah, that's the navigation as I mentioned before. And the rev counter. So this was the fun part that people were talking about. You can change that orange section, indicator on, the RPM that it registers, and a buzzer. A bit like the way the RX-7 and some other cars used to do it back in the day. I'd say it's quite handy in a way. and then other car settings like keyless entry function. You can't change really much there, so you can just turn on whether it flashes the hazards and the relocking if you don't open the door after unlocking. Defogger, how long it's on for. Interior lights, how long it's on for. And one touch lane changer, because the way the new indicators work, there's no locked in detent. There's just a partial click and then a one click all the way down detent, but it returns to the middle. So yeah, you can really change that function, whether it does the auto lane change 3 blinker for you or not. And then after that, there's just error messages. So now I'll talk about the tacho, which is the interesting part. If I hold the stability control button, you'll see a TRC, traction control, comes off. If I hold it for a bit longer, everything comes off. And that's basically, you're allowed to be a hoon at absolutely no expense. And the rev counts, as you can see, yeah, the first portion is who cares about that, and then the rest of it's 4K all the way up to red line. Now if I turn that off, if I hold down the track button, that is stability control off, traction control on, and it's called track mode. Now this allows you a little bit of slip without getting you into massive danger. I haven't bothered to try because I just want to drift, but yeah, it's basically the same tachometer as like drift mode, I'll call it. And yeah, and on the right side is your coolant level and fuel level. Sadly, the fuel level is they have a nice digital gauge, but then they use bars for it. It's a bit of a pain, but I guess, yeah, the car gives you a range anyway, so not a massive deal. But yeah, hope that makes all the sense in the world.